Hello there. Welcome to Mayor Elizabeth Jones's Variety Hour, starring my special guest, Kaye
How
Lazar.
you doing? Yeah, I'm everyone's special guest. I'm America's guest. Everywhere I go, I'm welcome. The day I'm not welcome is the day I find someone. That yeah, I never wear out my welcome. So, but so far everything's going great. So yeah,
Okay.
as long as we still have things to talk about and we have everything to talk about, including election just happened,
Yes, yes.
and is anyone excited about this election? Because as every election happens, your guy or gal may win, but then the guy you don't want in another election won too. So
Right, exactly.
in fact, I
Yes.
was looking and and somebody says, "Oh yeah, my guy won for president, but I don't like who my new senator is." I said, "Well, that's um, then I don't know what to do."
I mean,
You
what you can do
get a
about
better
it.
guy running against that guy if you
Right,
want him gone.
right,
You know.
right. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, you well, I tell you what you can do about it. It takes a
Yeah,
while, but
right.
I tell people that in fact a lot happened in the last in 2016. People were so fed up with the way the government was run that
Right.
they started themselves to run for local city council
Oh, yeah.
to start to fundraise or start to
Hmm.
be poll workers or something. They started to
Right,
be participate in the
right.
electoral process to make sure that this democracy continues and everything. They became more civic minded, and as a result of becoming more civic minded, they now are more understanding of the things in government and how things can happen and how things can change so
Right,
fast.
right.
I mean, we have President Trump, who in 4 years changed everything, like it or not. Some people
Mm.
thought he was the greatest president ever
Well,
since Abraham Lincoln. But maybe he's ahead of his time because Joe Biden looks like he's going to by on January 20th be inaugurated. You like Joe? All right. Yeah, Joe. I actually met Joe once, and he was very nice. I met him when he was a vice president. He came to town, and maybe I'll put that on your
yeah.
comments. Every time I mention a famous person I met, I always have to show the picture in the comments.
Right, right.
So people, yeah, I do, I did
Yeah,
meet him.
yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you how I met him. You're gonna love this. He was running, I think, against Mitt Romney, not
Oh,
whoever Mitt Romney. I guess it was Paul Ryan was his vice president guy,
oh, okay.
and so they were running against Barack and Joe for Barack was trying to get a second term. And the
Mm.
last night before election day, this is in 2012, he was at the Tredegar Iron Works, Biden,
Oh, okay.
and I went to see Biden,
Oh,
and it
wow.
was a very cold night and much colder than it has been recently, and
Mm.
in this time of November. And what happened was he it was very funny.
Yeah.
Uh, they said, "We like the look of you. Could we put you behind Biden?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." So they'll be on all the shots and everything. And what happens is when they do that, when they do that, it didn't work out so well to me. I in retrospect, I would have preferred because nobody saw me. All
Mm.
you see is the back of the guy's head the whole time,
Mm.
and you can't really take any pictures
What?
because you could try to take pictures, but all you're going to get is the back. You wait for that one moment where he goes like this, where he goes like this, and then you might get a profile. So I got all these. I got no really good pictures. A lot of good pictures of the back of his head. But then it all worked out because then he started greeting people. If I would have stayed in the
Oh,
front, I would have been better off because he
yeah.
started greeting people. He didn't They had to
Right,
wait for us to leave to be.
right,
As soon as I got to Spencer, luckily I'm a pretty agile guy, so I was able to
right, right.
climb fences and climb gates and jump over chairs and everything. And I got pretty much close to him, and then I got next to him, and he was, being very friendly
Right,
and
right,
shaking hands and
right,
everything,
right.
and then he wasn't really posing for photos, but if but people were taking photos of him.
Yeah.
So So I said, yeah, you're a great guy. I'm looking forward to another term with you and everything. And he said, oh, thank you very much. And he went to the next guy.
Oh.
I handed my camera to somebody and said, take a picture. And so they took a picture, and it turned out you see us both in the picture. We're not talking to each other, but the conversation was before the picture was taken, so that worked out.
Right, right. Yeah.
So the only president I actually now that I had a real picture with was him. Now, when Trump came to town in 2016, I went to the Coliseum, one of the famous Trump rallies,
Right.
and because I love the democratic process and I
Yeah.
love
Me too.
seeing guys
Yeah.
running for president and everything. I
Right.
don't see any of them. I
Yeah.
saw Sarah and I saw Barack and I saw them all. And what happened was Jerry Brown. I saw you in the day. And what happened was uh, I didn't get anywhere near Donald, but he did talk to a lot of people after it, but they were a
Oh.
little closer to him.
Right,
So I took
right.
lots of pictures, probably more pictures than I ever took of any guy running for
Oh.
president. I took of Donald, really good ones. And then what happened was while he was talking, I was not too far. He was still in the shot, so
Right.
I said, "Someone take a picture of me," and you can see Donald telling, giving a speech in the background with my face. Look
Oh.
at me at with the Donald Trump rally. When it was over, because Donald Trump's always been a polarizing figure.
Right,
So
right.
there was all these protests and signs and everything, and I said, "Oh man, I better get out of here. I don't want to get in the middle of it all." Uh, you don't really see that for guys running for president so much. You see it when they are president. I've been to see a few presidents when they were president. I saw Barack and I saw Jimmy Carter. I've seen guys before they were president. I saw guys
Right,
after they were president.
right,
But
right.
those are the only two guys I saw while they were president.
Hmm.
And there were protests mainly in the day about nuclear weapons or the
Oh.
environment. They usually not about something like a typical political thing.
Right.
And so I was
Mhm.
there, and what's weird is when you watch the news, always remember when they say, and there were protesters there at the when the president gave a speech or when the senator gave a speech, and basically sometimes it's only like three or four people that are carrying signs rather
Right.
quietly, and
Right.
they say, "Oh look, he has his enemies." No, four people, 10 people, hardly worth really worrying about. And it's good that they're there. They keep, I believe in protests.
Right.
I believe people, if they don't like the way things are running. Why should protests only be for the loudest voices? I think
Right.
the quieter people. Now,
Yeah, I
as it
mean,
turned out, yeah.
yeah, it would be okay if I could like maybe do it peacefully or something, but not like ridiculously like, breaking things and all that. I
Yeah.
don't believe in that
I don't
stuff.
believe in vandalism either.
Yeah.
Vandalism is not
Right.
takes away from
Right.
whatever good you want to cause
Right. Right.
in a thing. You
Exactly.
want
Right.
vandalism. I mean, after it's almost like what's a good example? Um, when you uh, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
If you start yelling at somebody and then start calling them names. Now what you may have a problem with somebody, but if you start calling them names and start calling them very bad names or
Yes.
derogatory names or racial names or
Right. Exactly.
sexual names,
Right.
then no one really cares what before you said anything
Hmm.
what the what the issue was.
Oh.
Another one I noticed this on the People's Court when Judge Wapner was if two people have a problem and they take it to court, it sometimes comes out that and then he hit me. And then at that point, the judge doesn't even want to hear the problem anymore. He goes, if you hit him, then he wins. I don't care what side he's on.
Yeah. I think Judge Judy's kind of the same way, I think.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I think that's the way it is. So Judge
Right.
Judy, in
Yeah.
theory, all judges are the same.
Right.
So when we pick the Supreme Court,
Uh-huh.
they say, well, do you want this issue? You favor this issue, this issue?
Yeah.
Well, they may have, slight differences, but for the most part, there's a constitution and a law book and everything and a rule book and laws that they follow, and their personal view does not go into it.
Right.
They
Right.
that's why they always ask them about abortion or about domestic troubles and stuff
Right.
like that, because they always say, my opinion has no bearing on how I'm going to decide on something. And they're right because they hate, if you have anything to do with a judge, they hate when you think of them as unfair. So no, I
Right.
am fair. And if you're going to say I'm unfair, then you've lost because that's the whole point. You're trying
Right.
to, and they said, "Well, I have right on my side." I said, "Yes, you may have right on your side, but the other guy thinks he has right on his side."
Exactly.
Nobody thinks they're the villain and the other guy is the hero. Everyone thinks
Right.
they're the hero. Okay,
Right.
and the judge is there, impartial, to decide
Right.
which is which.
Right.
Now, what's kind of neat about that is that a lot of times these guys are actually friends of the lawyers they go fishing or they have invite them to parties, they have
Right.
cocktail parties, they
Mm,
discuss things probably after a trial,
mm.
how things could have been different or something. But 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 when the trial starts, the judge feels, hey, don't. He says, maybe the lawyer's his best friend. He goes, hey, I want facts. I want the truth. I don't want any accusations of me being unfair because I think of myself as very fair.
Right.
So whenever I hear somebody says the judge was unfair to me, I always say, no, you just didn't present your case properly. I mean, that's why the really good lawyers who prepare their case and all can get murderers off. I mean, obviously, you think a murderer would always go to jail just for being a murderer, but the lawyer proved that the guy that the other side is deficient in their thing, or he's doing a better job of that, or a
Right.
shadow of doubt.
Right.
And the
Right.
laws are such that you
Yes.
don't if there's what the shadow of doubt or benefit of the doubt when you if there's any one reason to doubt
Mhm.
that this could have happened the way you claim it is, then
Right.
the whole thing is then it's
Right.
better. It's better that this phrase is better that a guilty man go free than send an innocent man to jail. So that's
Right.
how it goes.
Right.
So and a lot of people, when they have people arrested, they think that they have, they think that, oh, they're going to throw the book at them. They'll never see the light. They'll be there for 20 years, 30. What is the Count of Monte Cristo? What is Les Mis? I mean, that doesn't happen in reality. In America,
Yeah.
well,
Right.
we don't throw away the key on people. We try to keep people from going to jail because there's
Yes.
nothing worse than going to jail.
Right.
You go to a lawyer. In fact, if you have a lawyer and he starts making a fuss in a courtroom pleading your case in
Right.
defense of you and
Right.
he goes to jail for contempt of court,
Right.
that
Right.
actually helps the lawyer
Right. Oh.
because hey, that lawyer is willing to go to jail instead of helping me go there. So that's why a lot of these defense attorneys, like
Right.
in
Right.
town, like
Yeah.
Joe Morrissey and people like that,
Yeah.
always, they become anti-heroes. They become legends because they are willing
Right.
to lay themselves on the line for you. So, oh
Right.
well, I gotta hire that guy.
Right. Right.
Now, do you ever have any problems with the law? Do you ever got arrested for littering or anything?
No, no.
The cop ever yell at you or anything?
I've, dealt with the cop years and years ago.
Yeah.
But that was like when I was really young. So,
Oh, okay. Well, young doesn't count.
yeah.
Before you're 18, you have a pass. You know. But I gotta tell you something. When I was young, I mean, this is scary. Every time I did anything wrong, like yell at somebody or hit a kid in a school. I mean, usually in a fist fight
Right.
that he started because I don't start fights. I'm not a violent person. But I'm going to get beaten up.
Mhm.
So because everyone's bigger than me. So what happened was they always threatened me with reform school, which are actually now looking back on it as an adult, it was a very empty threat because they weren't going to send me to reform school. I had teachers who thought that my conduct was
Wow.
bad, but not
Wow.
because I was a bad kid, but because I was
Right.
always talking in class. And
Right.
guess what? I'm still
Right.
talking, as we
Right.
mentioned last week.
Oh, wow.
In fact, I haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I've been photographed. Anyway, I always try to bring refreshments to these discussions we have, Mary, and I brought you your favorite. You like ginger ale?
I do.
Yeah, ginger ale.
What do you have?
Here,
Right here.
let's open it. Okay. Now I'm gonna open my drink too. I saw this on a show. I've never had this before, so I'm gonna give you. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna pour you a little cup of this. This has the craziest. I wonder if there's alcohol in this. It's called, if you could read that, Liquid Death. I saw this written somewhere. I saw a comedian talk about it last week on television, and it said, "Why do they call this? I mean, is this like poison? Is this like something Snow White's mother would put in an apple or something?" And then you look at it; it's called mountain water. It's supposed to be, but I think the theory is name of the stuff is that it's so good that you will is the best water you'll ever have, and you'll feel like you've died. It's so good. Is that? I like to feel like I'm, but I'm going to pour you some of this. Well, it does. It's white like water.
Yeah, it's just
White. When I was a kid, I thought water was white. So it's clear. It's not white. There's no color to water. All right, let me try this. Let's see. Oh, here is to more fun on this show. Okay. That was good. I didn't die.
no.
It's not liquid death.
It's
It's
water.
water.
It's just plain water. You know, it's just a name. You
Might as well
know.
have taken it out the toilet tank. Somebody told me that bottled that they
Mm.
what did they said they came to my house and they said, "Do you have any bottled water?" I said, "No, but the tap is pretty good." He goes, "Tap water is like drinking out of the toilet. Get me some bottled water." I hate people who come to your house and start giving you orders.
I know. I know.
Now
I
give me a
mean,
drink of water. No, I got some water. I'm sorry.
yeah. That really makes me upset. So
So this liquid death. This is the. I hope you enjoy. This is the last time I'll ever drink this. Oh, by the way, if you're drinking water at home, it tastes just like it. There's no bubbles. There's no sugar in it. There's nothing else in it. But we had some, so
yeah.
that was that.
Yeah.
Now, what can I tell you? So let's see. As we always talk about, Mary's doing a show right now. So
Yes.
tell me about you talking about your directors,
Yes. I've been working with some wonderful directors. At John Tyler.
like Steven Spielberg. Was he there?
Oh no, no, no! I wish though, but you know, but these directors I'm working with are really good. There's um, there's a lady named Shania Taylor, and she's really awesome at it. This is like the first show I worked on with her, so she's great. I recommend you if anybody hasn't worked with her or anything, she'll be the one. She's the one. So
Shania Taylor, I know from my dealings with Kings Dominion,
yeah,
and I
I know.
know her, and I know her. I've known her for years. She's a lovely woman,
Yeah,
and I can tell you something about Shania.
yeah.
It's really wild. She and I and and about 50 other people went to New York to see a Broadway show.
Oh,
It was a bus. If you know anything about Petersburg, their
oh,
most famous actor from there, after
mm,
Joseph Cotton, is
mm.
Blair Underwood. And
Oh,
Blair's one of those guys that always working, always in movies and
oh,
TV shows
okay.
and stuff. And he never appeared on Broadway before, so this was his debut performance.
Right,
Not the opening night, but he was
right.
his debut performance on Broadway.
Oh,
And
wow.
we went to the afternoon show, Streetcar Named Desire. It
Oh,
was an
yeah.
all African American version of it,
Hmm.
where black people played all the characters.
Oh, wow.
But it was the same dialogue. The only thing I think they changed was Stanley Kowalski was not Mr. Kowalski because
Oh, wow.
the Polish name. So he was just Stanley in it. But it was the same exact same thing.
Right, right.
And we met Blair at the end, and there's pictures of me with Blair and pictures of Shania with Blair
Mm.
and everything. And so we went and it was basically just a day trip. The mayor of Petersburg was there.
Right,
They gave him some sort of award after it was a
right,
daytime matinee performance on a
right.
Saturday. Um, Blair's father was there. Blair's brother was there. The only person that of the group that wasn't there was um, Blair's mother. Okay.
Oh,
Now Blair's mother um, was sadly was at home. She's not well. She's in a wheelchair. I think she has some disease, but she's a lovely woman.
yeah.
And so when you're not allowed to talk about pictures, I mean, we weren't allowed to take video or pictures while things were going. I did it anyway. I don't care.
Yeah.
but you really shouldn't. I mean, as far as the rules go. So when they gave him this award, there was no cameras there. So I videotaped the whole thing on my
Wow.
camera. Okay.
Wow.
And we were halfway down to back to Petersburg. I think we were
Mm.
in Maryland. And
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, you want to see the video I took of it? I'm going to put it on the internet later." And they said, "You weren't supposed to do that. But since you did it, if you could show us where on the internet where it is, we would like to see it and shake our heads in disgust." I said, "Yeah, yeah, sure." They winked at me when I said it. So anyway, I put it on the internet, and I heard that Blair's mother got to see that video.
Oh
So
wow.
so you see the good. Even when you do a bad thing, it turns out to be a
Right.
good thing
Right.
if your heart is pure.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And you could and that maybe
Right. Right.
I could probably tell you where it is too, but it's on YouTube, so don't worry about
Right.
it. Anyway, so
Right.
and it was a great show. Streetcar Named Desire. You probably remember the Marlon Brando movie
And
and Vivian
Vivian
Lee.
Lee one. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Streetcar Named Desire is such a good show that you see it,
Right.
and near the end when they like take her away and she's just flipping out and everything,
Oh.
Blanche, and she is she's just losing it, and they
Mm.
take her out. You think it's actually happening on stage. You forget that they're actors playing it. You think it's real. The cops come in and shooting guns and everything, and it's just
Yeah.
and the woman is just broken, and it's heartbreaking and everything.
Wow.
Oh, there's a roll call. There's a roll call on the bus, to make sure everyone's on the bus, and everyone's like here, here,
Mhm.
Johnny here, Mary here, and then they said Kevin, and I go Stella, Stella. Also, I got in a little bit of controversy when I was on this trip because they all got T-shirts with the event and the date and everything on there, and I think I just put the T-shirt in my bag, and then I went to the bathroom, and I almost like Batman or Superman. I came out wearing a suit and tie and everything, Mr. Big Shot, and they said, "You're not wearing a T-shirt like the rest of us." I said, "Yeah, you're right. I'm not wearing a T-shirt like the rest of you. I'm going to the theater. I want to look my best, and I certainly don't want to be one of the crowd." So but it all worked out, and in the photos you'll see me with a suit on, and everyone else wearing a silly red shirt. Uh, yeah, I just don't like wearing a uniform. I mean, if I have to,
Yeah. I
if I'm a
mean, it's
policeman or something,
yeah.
or
Right.
airline pilot, I'll have to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I need the job, I will. But I've
Right.
worn uniforms before.
Right.
But Shania, I talked to Shania on this trip, and I said, this is how many times have you been to New York, Shania? And she said, oh, many times. I said, so have I. You seen a lot of Broadway shows? She goes, yeah, I have too. I said, this is the first Broadway show I've ever seen, Streetcar Named Desire, that wasn't a musical.
Oh
And she goes,
wow.
yeah, every time I go to Broadway, it has to be like Cats or or
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera
Right.
or Grease or something,
Yeah.
Chicago. And this was so we both enjoyed our first play on Broadway that didn't have singing and dancing in it. Just
Yeah.
acting. What's the deal on that?
Right. Exactly.
The we were in a show, the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and
Oh
the
yes.
Wardrobe,
Yeah. Those
and
like
that
3 years ago.
and if anything screams to be a musical, that is. But there's no music in it. It's
I
just
know.
it's just it's just a lot of philosophical, religious talking by beavers and by lions
Right.
and by
Children. Children.
yeah, lost children and everything, but it
Right.
all works out.
Right.
Now, Kings of yeah, we mentioned Kings of Maine.
Yes.
Kings of Maine's opening up again
Yes. Yes. It
for
will be
Christmas. Yeah.
opening from December the 5th to the 27th.
So is it what's it called? Winterfest?
Yeah, but they're calling it something else now
Meaning
because
it's not Winterfest.
it's not. I don't think it's going to be as like a big event as it has been Runnerfest. So because of it's they're gonna have some rules and all that. Because it's still the COVID stuff going
More
on.
rules. One thing about this COVID-19 thing is there's
Right.
rules.
Rules, rules, rules,
Rules.
rules
I think
everywhere.
I think I think the I think the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour rules. But I don't like the rule book, the book of rules. The cider house rules and Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour rules. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Now, um, whenever we come here, we always talk about your LP collection.
Yes.
And the LP collection is always exciting to me.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So let's take a look at some of your LPs. Why don't you take we'll go through them one at a time here.
Okay.
And what's the first one you have, Mary?
This one is Randy Travis.
Let's see. I get the glare off of it. There we go. Randy Travis, is this his first album or maybe his second album?
Yeah, it might have been a second album.
Yeah.
This one is called 8 by 10 and it's a really good album because my mom used to have a cassette of this when I was a kid. So
You used to play it?
I pretty much grew up on this album. So and it's got Honky Tonk Moon, Deeper Than the Holler,
Oh, those are good songs.
It's Out of My Hands, Is It Still Over,
Yeah.
Old 8 by 10, Written in Stone, The Blue and Black and White, Here in My Heart, We Ain't Out of Love Yet, and Promises.
All right. Now let me tell you about Randy Travis. Randy Travis is probably my favorite singer.
Yes.
Randy Travis, I have this album. I have all of his albums.
Yeah.
And I even have stuff after he was popular.
Right.
And Randy Travis is still alive, but he doesn't sing anymore because he had a stroke. And due to, he had this wife that was his manager.
Oh, yeah.
And she really had control over him. Liv Hatcher, almost like Colonel Parker.
Right.
And so then then you didn't hear from Randy for a while, and then he divorced his wife, and then married a woman more his own age, because I think this woman was like 15 years older than he is. And I guess the control was taken off of the stirrups were taken off
Right.
the off of Randy, and he just went back to from what I understand his bad behavior when he was like a teenager. He was drinking and drugs and vandalism and
Right.
everything, and he just spiraled out of control.
Right.
And then and now he's at the point where he can't work anymore. And it's really sad. There was a video that came out just, I think, last year, a tribute to Country Music Awards put it on,
Right.
and they had all the popular singers, and a few of the old singers that are still around singing, and they play. There were two songs, I think. Crazy. I don't know what the other song was, but the other one was it ended with "I Will Always Love You." But somewhere near the beginning, you see he doesn't sing because they all take turns singing a line of this song. Where you see Randy Travis sitting at a table, and you get so excited because maybe he'll open his mouth and sing something. But Randy Travis is. I saw him at the Coliseum. I've never met him, but he oh, let me tell you something. He's the first song I ever sang karaoke was him. It was called Forever and Ever Amen.
Oh, I love that
Isn't
song.
that a good song?
Yes.
And that's on his first album.
Yes.
And that also has Digging Up Bones.
Oh, I love
On the
that
other
one too.
hand.
I love that one. I
And
love all of those.
I mean, just
Yeah.
and he sang every song so well. He oh, I was like in the third row at the Coliseum, so I saw him pretty well up close.
Right.
And when he sang, he has that voice that's real deep, and you could actually feel it in your chest. He was singing. And your chair kind of vibrated when he sang. It wasn't loud. I mean, it was just almost like an octave that was an octave that was just so
Right.
you're not used to hearing. Somebody told me Barry White was the only other person who sang like Randy Travis that you
Right.
could actually hear the
Yeah.
you could actually hear it in the hollows of your chest. The okay, I'll tell you, a friend of mine met Randy Travis and had the craziest story to tell me about him. Said he was at the Holiday Inn in Richmond, and he was there with his manager, Lib Hatcher, and she
Mm.
was letting him. She was answering questions from from the young people who met who taught, and he was one of the guys who just cornered Randy Travis
Yeah.
and said, "Well, he said he asked them a few questions. Says I said, was he a nice guy? He goes, oh yeah, he's a very nice guy. I said, was there anything strange about it? He goes, yeah, there was one thing really strange about Randy Travis.
Wow.
And I said, what was that? He said, well, whenever we asked him a question, like, you ready to do a show tonight, or what songs are going to sing, or something, he'd always pause and look over at that wife of his, this first wife, that was also his manager, Liv Hatcher, just look at her, and she would like nod, and he goes, "Oh yeah, tonight we're going to be singing all the hits or something. Oh yeah, I'm
Mm.
ready for tonight."
Oh
In other
wow.
words, he couldn't. He almost felt like she kept him on a leash almost.
Mm.
But he had a good career in
Right.
the day,
Yeah.
and his career faltered when she wasn't in the picture anymore.
Oh,
So it kind of says
okay.
it all. And now he's a sick man. At least he wasn't a sick man. He might have been had
Right.
his problems,
Right.
but Randy Travis is just so wonderful. And for some reason
Yeah,
with
he
Randy
is.
Travis, of all the people in show business, I'm not losing hope. I think maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, he may
Right.
come back and
Yeah, I mean, he
singing
makes
as
a
good as ever.
comeback. I like Randy Travis.
Well, I'm talking about he doesn't have a voice anymore, from what I
Right.
understand.
Oh.
So I mean, it's not like he's singing in the shower or something and waiting for another break. I think the break is there. It's just
Yeah.
is he ready for it? Yeah. So
Right. Right.
here we go. What's the next? Bring on the next one here.
This one is Helen Reddy.
Helen Reddy
Hmm.
and
I am woman.
I am woman.
She passed away recently as well too. So
Yes, I
yeah.
haven't seen Helen Reddy in years before she died, and she hold this up. You can hold it up. Helen Reddy is oh I see you too. Helen Reddy is was a big hit when I was growing up,
Mhm.
and Helen Reddy I heard her she um I heard she had like dementia near the end, which is sad. And she was American, living in America for many years, and the last 10 years she moved back to Australia to I guess to fade away. She old heroes never die.
Oh, right.
They just fade away.
Yeah.
And then she so then what was weird was she appeared on some talk shows and stuff in Australia, and I saw the old Helen Reddy. All I remember was the younger Helen Reddy. In the 1990s, actually, she came to Richmond, and I saw her, and I got to meet her. Helen Reddy. I heard that she was like one of the hardest people to meet.
Oh wow.
She was very rude and very
Ooh.
off-putting and everything.
What?
And I met her, and she was very nice to
Oh
me.
wow. Okay.
I actually didn't go to see her.
Yeah.
She was the opening singer for Mel Torme, who I really wanted to see.
Oh
And
okay.
I got to meet Mel Torme too, and he was nice too. But a lot of people, believe it or not, when I show the pictures of Helen
Yeah.
Reddy and of Mel Torme, they're more impressed with the Helen Reddy pictures.
Right. Right.
Helen Reddy was she had so many great. I mean, I am. If she only just had "I Am Woman," that would have been enough. But she had all these great hits like Ruby Red Dress and the
Mm.
song from Jesus Christ Superstar, I Don't Know
Oh
How to
okay.
Love Him.
Okay. Yeah.
And she had one song called um, Delta Dawn,
Oh, that one. Yes, I love that one.
which is, I think, a Tanya Tucker song originally, but
Oh
she made it
yeah.
very popular. And, and everybody loves that song.
Wow.
In fact, everyone, you start singing it, everyone starts singing along to it.
Wow.
and everyone knows the lyrics to it, and everyone, and it's one
Ah,
of those songs everybody loves, Delta Dawn. And I've heard lots
wow.
of different versions of it. I have to admit, I like the Helen Reddy version the best, but they're
Yeah.
all good. There's Bette Midler version.
Right.
Some versions try to be bluesy.
Yeah.
Some try, there's the
Right.
country music version by
Right.
Tony,
Right.
but the popular version by Helen Reddy. In fact, that's my favorite Helen Reddy song.
Right.
She had a song, "You and Me Against the World"
Oh,
by
okay.
Paul Williams.
Yeah.
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 The worst version I heard of "You and Me Against the World" was um, when Telly Savalas got married.
Oh.
He married a woman like young enough to be his granddaughter,
Mm.
and and how Kojak sang. He sang it at the wedding. You're on me against the world, and the wife was just like
Oh
pretending to
no.
like it.
Oh Lord.
Says, when is this man going to die so I can inherit all his money? So,
Oh.
but Helen Reddy, yeah, Helen Reddy was just
Yes.
wonderful. Now, what can you tell me about Helen
Helen Reddy, I thought she was really great at her singing career.
Reddy? Hmm.
Um, she was I was told about her when my mom when she was younger. So
Yeah,
and then I never really actually heard much about her till my mom told me and all that, and
yeah,
that song called "I Am Woman," which
an
was a
anthem.
really
Yeah,
yeah, an anthem, which was a really big hit back in the 1970s.
yeah,
So you know, and I love exploring music.
yeah. Well, Helen Reddy is a good place to start because she people. I mean, I people really liked Helen Reddy as a pop singer.
Yeah.
Uh, she was probably the first uh, one that actually broke through in her way. She oh she actually made an appearance before I saw
Oh.
her at a gay bar in Richmond,
Oh wow.
and she only showed up. She was there at a midnight show, half hour. She was only there a half hour. She sang
Wow.
about 4 or 5 songs, or like her hits. And by the fifth song, she was kind of disappointed and almost and walked off the stage, I think. And
Wow.
there wasn't even a band for her. I think they had like karaoke type music for her to
Oh
sing
wow.
along to. And
Why was she disappointed?
I think when you get to the point where you're playing a local
Uh.
uh, genre bar
Oh.
in in a not so big town, that at midnight, not even and that they, I don't know how expensive the tickets were in the day, but probably a little more than usual because it was Helen Reddy,
Right.
but it wasn't like a 2 hour show or an hour show. It
Right.
was actually
Right.
a half-hour show.
Oh
It was
wow.
weird. I wasn't there obviously. It was a gay bar. What would I be doing there?
Right.
But they had but then I saw a list of who else was going to come to that bar, and they said Ella Fitzgerald. I said, "Oh, I
Oh
don't.
really? Oh. Okay.
Gay bar be damned. I'm going to see Ella Fitzgerald." But I never. But then I think because of the Helen Reddy fiasco, Ella Fitzgerald probably got the words that I'm not going there either.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Okay.
sad because I never got to see Ella Fitzgerald.
Right. Right. No,
Who's from
that's.
Virginia? Greatest singer of them all. Well, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
life.
Right.
Can't just live it. You can't complain about
Exactly.
it.
That's right.
Whatever you can do to change it. All right,
Right.
but that's Helen Reddy. That was
Yeah.
great. All right,
Yeah.
what do we got here?
Dick Clark's 20 Years of Rock and Roll.
Now, does he sing on this album?
No, but the songs that are in this album are inspired by the American Bandstand, which was
Okay.
hosted by Dick Clark himself.
Yes.
So,
Dick Clark.
so this is a really good album though. It's got
I never really cared for Dick Clark. I mean, as a guy, you know, Dick Clark. I mean, Dick Clark is fine, but Dick Clark
right,
was rather. I mean, Dick Clark never. Dick Clark to me was void of personality, which is how he wanted it. He was a businessman. He was like Ed Sullivan. He wasn't there to entertain you. He was there to introduce the next guy. You know, I know people who just love Dick Clark, and they think Dick Clark loved,
I personally like Dick Clark. So I mean,
yeah,
he
on
was
his
put
New
on good
Year's Rockin'
stuff.
Eve and stuff,
Yeah,
and
right,
the $10,000 pyramid.
right, right.
And he started his show in Philadelphia, basically as like a DJ
Wow,
and like a VJ, and
right.
then rode that for a long time as a businessman, which is very good. You ever notice on when you watch American Bandstand, a lot of people. Okay, this is the point I might want to make. When you
Right.
watch American Bandstand, you're under the impression that Dick Clark was a you get the impression that Dick Clark loved the music he was playing. No, he didn't even listen to the music he was playing. They said this is the number one song this week. Play it, and he
Yeah.
knew that if he played the number one song, more people
Right.
would watch his show.
Exactly.
And then next week there's a new number one or number two, and then he'd play those on his show,
Right.
and people
Yeah.
would dance to it if they
Yeah.
had dance
Yeah.
party and everything.
Yeah.
He'd have he'd have entertainers on his show, and they talk to the audience. But what
Mm.
was weird was they never sang on that show. They
Oh.
only what they did was they lip synced.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
They
pretty much
did.
pioneered lip syncing on for television. It was always in the movies, but
Right.
the musicals were all lip synced.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he was the first one to lip sync on
Mhm.
I don't know if he was the first one, but he was the first one to really put an art to it. He said he discovered it when he didn't want to remember when he was advertising for Clearasil or some
Yeah.
cockamamie product. He said, "I'm going to record it on a tape, my script. Be sure to use this wonderful product, blah blah blah." And then he would come out and just go, and so it would look like he was saying it, and when he did that, he said, "Well, then the music will come easy." He only had, I think, in the history of American Bandstand, um, only one person didn't refuse to be lip synced, and that was Jerry Lee Lewis of all people.
Oh.
They had a since he was going to play a fake piano anyway. They said, "Well, don't play it. Just put the microphone next to the piano, and I will play the piano. Well, I don't need a band." And he played the piano, whatever song he sang that day,
Oh.
and
Okay.
he and sang to it with the microphone. He said there's two microphones, one
Right.
on the piano, one on me, and no lip syncing.
Right.
And that was like in 1957 or something. So in our lifetime, because that's way back
Right.
60 some years ago.
Yeah.
That was the only time people didn't lip a person didn't lip sync on American Bandstand or
Oh.
anything he did.
I
The
did not know
U.S.
that.
The ABC Music Awards or whatever
Yeah.
it's called,
Yeah.
Billboard Music Awards is on
Mm.
ABC
Mm.
because he was always on ABC.
Yeah.
He Dick Clark, New Year's Rockin' Eve. So he always found the way. In fact, they once asked him, "Who is your favorite?" Who? Oh, remember I said he wasn't a big fan of the stuff he played, like the Jackson Five or the Osmond Brothers or
Yeah.
whoever was popular in the day. Casey and Sunshine Band.
Yeah.
He said his favorite sing. No, he said they asked him who has the most talent of anyone you saw in show business, and he, without blinking an eye, said Bobby Darin.
What?
Bobby Darin.
Okay.
Well, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
is
agree.
good.
Bobby Darin can do it all. But then they asked him, who is your favorite singer of all the singers around? And he said, and you'd be surprised, Connie Francis,
Oh.
who was a very popular
Yeah.
singer in the early '60s, a lot of hits,
Yeah.
and still around,
Oh.
but not really much of a performer anymore. But
Right.
she was, everyone
Right.
liked Connie Francis in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Italiano, buongiorno.
Who's sorry now? Who's sorry now?
Yeah. And Where the Boys Are,
Yeah.
all those songs.
Yeah. Where the boys are. La 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 la.
That's about nobody knows the words after Where the Boys Are.
Right.
We just hum along, hum along. All right. Oh, what you tell me a couple of the songs. Not you know I think there's like two records there.
Yes,
So I think it's if I remember right. Hold
there's
that up again. Hold that up. No,
actually
we can't hold that up again so people remember. Okay, now tell me like if I remember right, there was like at the time there were popular songs at the time, and then they also had some stuff from like the '50s where he started. I think it runs the gamut of at that time 20 years of rock and roll of hits and everything.
yes. There's a Jerry Lee Lewis song called "Whole Lot of Shaking Going On."
No, never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, it's popular.
I know the song.
Yeah.
I know all these songs.
Yeah.
Tell me what's near the end, because I want to
The
hear what were
ending,
the popular songs.
"Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" by Otis Redding.
Okay.
"Superfly" by Curtis
Yeah, that's
Mayfield.
more like it. Yeah. '70s.
Um,
Yeah.
"Nice to Be with You" by Gallery.
Yeah.
"Hang On Sleepy" by the McCoys.
Yeah. What's the last one on
The
there?
last one
It's a
is,
two-record set, if I.
yeah, it's Nice to Be With You by
Nice
Gallery.
movie,
That's
yeah.
the
That
very
yeah. They
last
probably
song.
when they did that, they said we got to put something on there for the youngsters, for the teeny boppers, for the 15
Right,
year olds,
right,
and they probably thought the like all those other songs, "Nice to Be With You" would rank with all
right,
of the
right.
"Nice to Be." You remember that song?
Yeah.
I remember it, but most people,
Yeah,
if you heard it, you probably remember it.
right.
They play a lot of those types of songs in those Guardians of the Galaxy movies,
Right,
because they
right.
I'm very wary of movies that, even though that those movies are pretty good, but a lot of movies. I saw this in the day, like in the '80s, they would advertise for them, and they say, "And listen to the wonderful songs in the soundtrack," and they'd mention, Elvis songs or Beatles songs. I said, I didn't come here to listen to those songs. I came here to see a movie.
Ah,
In fact, I think listening to those songs detracts from the story they're trying to tell.
exactly. Yeah,
If I
yeah.
wanted to hear Elvis or Beatles songs or Bing
Yes.
Crosby or anything, I'd
Yeah.
stay home and play the records
Right.
in
Okay.
those days.
Yeah.
I had records in those
Yeah.
days. Okay, okay. What's this?
Soul Train.
Soul Train. I like
Hits
that.
that made it happen.
I like that hairdo that guy has. That guy, it was sort of the African American bandstand. Not a whole lot different either. They had a Dick Clark character. They had guests that lip synced. They
Uh-huh.
had people dancing to records and tape music and stuff. Very cheap show to produce. I think it was in Philadelphia. I think they made it in the same. Even though I think at that point American Bandstand moved to California, Soul Train moved into Philadelphia. I
Yeah.
remember it was on late at night, and Soul Train also was had these advertisements that were just for um, African American people, black people, Afro Sheen and Ultra Sheen for how to get your hair correct. I didn't know. I didn't really worry so much about hair when I was growing up, but evidently this was a big thing in the African American community, as you could probably tell with this guy's hair,
Yes.
and thus they taking care of your hair is a source of pride, and thus there was a lot of advertisements, and not only put Soul Train on the map, but also put Afro Sheen on the map.
Exactly. And
I've
this
never
was
seen anyone use Afro Sheen though, but everyone knows about it because
let
of
me
Soul
let me tell you guys something. This was my favorite show after Saturday morning cartoons.
Train.
Okay, because I grew up on that kind of music when I was growing up. You
I
know.
remember there was they for the longest time they only had black artists on there,
Yeah.
and I remember watching it. I used to watch it, and I remember once they had James Brown, and I didn't really like James Brown. I mean, then I didn't like, and he sang for the whole hour. It was no other music but him, and I got because James Brown. A lot of his music is kind of similar. It's all good, but
Yeah.
in fact, it's great actually. But
Yeah, I love
but
James
but it's
Brown.
all but one song sounded like the next song, sounded like the next song, so I got kind of bored with it. But once I think Elton John appeared on it once, and
Yes,
and
yes.
he kind of broke. He was the Jackie
I
Robinson
think he was
he was the reverse Jackie Robinson of Soul Train.
I think he was the first
White,
white
white
performer
for
on Soul Train.
he was the reverse Jackie Robinson. So
Yeah.
what happened was, then they had a few white performers on there after that.
Hmm.
But I remember Johnny Mathis was the first really popular black performer that everyone would know. Appeared on Soul Train. He was interviewed by Don Cornelius is the guy's name, and he
Yes.
said that he said, a lot of white people watch this show. He goes, really? He goes, yeah, and he says, I'm in Hollywood, and I know everyone in Hollywood, and Fred Astaire told me this is his favorite show. I said,
Well, I did not
and I
know
think even
that.
Don Cornelius says, why would Fred Astaire watch Soul Train? He says, well, I don't think he's a big fan of the music. I don't know if he's a big fan
I
of the
think he
music,
probably
but he
likes.
liked the dancing.
That's what
He
I was
liked the
gonna
dancing,
say.
and of course he liked the dancing because there was no better show for dancing for the longest time until Soul Train.
Yeah.
Now every night there's a show about dancing on television. If you look at it hard enough. Yeah. But that's Soul Train. What songs are on here? I mean, what name a
um,
couple of them we might know.
Treat Her Like a Lady by Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose.
Oh yeah.
Superfly by Curtis Mayfield.
You see the same song on two albums. How about
Yes,
that?
exactly.
I only need one version of Superfly. I have two too many. Actually, I may have one too many. What else you got?
Give Me Your Love by Barbara Mason.
Okay.
Guilty by Al Green.
Oh, I agree. Okay.
Why Can't We Live Together by Timmy Thomas.
Okay. Well, these people I've never heard of. I've heard of Al Green.
Yeah. The Mess
And I
Up.
know everything. Okay, if I've never heard of it, I'm going to learn of it thanks to Mary educating me because it's very important to know these things about life, know everything about culture.
Right.
You said a few times already in this show, you said that your mother taught you about certain music. Always
Yes.
listen to your parents because even though you may not like their music, it's good to know where a
Right.
lot of this because don't think that music started when you were born.
Yeah. Right.
There's actually a whole history of music.
Right.
There were cavemen banging on rocks.
Yeah.
Well, name one other song and I might know.
Good Foot by James Brown.
Okay, James Brown. You
And
notice it's not like I Feel Good
yeah.
or It's a Man's World. It's something not as
Yes.
not as
And there's
not as,
a song called Gotcha by Joe Tex.
oh, I know that song. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, I have the
Uh-huh.
album back there
Yeah.
in my stash.
Joe Tex was great.
Yeah, but my dad told me one time that when he was watching Soul Train, Joe Tex was on it. And you know how he kind of does like the tricks on his microphone and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He told me that Don Cornelius was interviewing him. He was like, "How did you do it like that?" You know?
How do you do that?
Yeah. So.
This tracks from when I hit a bad note, I throw it in the air. Something like that. Yes.
Yes.
I think we have time for one more. Pick a good one in here. And listen. We're going to be doing this show for a long time. So you lucky people, we're not threatening you. We're going to just do it because we want to do it.
Right.
So we're going to do this show for a
Right.
long time. So any records we don't get to today, we'll get to them
Yes,
next week
exactly.
or the week after
Yeah,
that or something.
exactly.
Next time we do a show.
Right.
Okay, so let's. Oh, I think you picked a good one here.
Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, the Jimi Hendrix World and Jimmy. And what's the name of this album? You have to read it.
It's
The
called
greatest hits of Jimi Hendrix. No, what's called?
Axis Bold as Love.
Axis Bold as Love. Okay.
This is a
I
great
knew
album.
what it was called. I just wanted you.
This is a great album, though.
Now, what music is on here that we would know? Popular music, hits of his. The two records?
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's one record, but it
Well,
was just made
just,
like this.
it just looks like two records.
Yes.
They always confuse you in the record stores by giving you this big fold out album thinking that it's
Right.
two records, and it's only one.
Right. Okay.
It's on Reprise Records.
Purple Haze.
Okay.
Manic Depression.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey Joe.
Hey Joe.
Love or Confusion.
Yeah.
May This Be Love.
Yeah.
I Don't Live Today.
Mm-hmm.
The Wind Cries Mary.
Okay, Mary. Song for you.
Yeah. Fire.
Okay.
Third Stone from the Sun.
I remember that TV show based on that song. It was really good. Had John Lithgow on it.
Foxy Lady.
Yes.
And Are You Experienced?
Are you there's about 4 or 5 songs that most people would know if they know their Jimi Hendrix
Right.
is on that album. So that's a very good album. And
Right.
I'm not a guitar guy. I mean, when I say I'm not a guitar, that doesn't mean I don't listen to the guitar,
Right.
but I don't play the guitar or anything. I don't really play. I'm a singer just like you.
Yeah.
But I recognize good instruments and he in the day pioneered what you could do with a guitar.
Right.
But it was ahead of its time. So when I was growing up and he was popular, I
Yeah.
wasn't really into these long solos that were technically great, but I didn't really. They're probably good, probably live better than hearing them on record. So I was never. I'm still not really into a lot of that heavy metal or acid rock music. I think you have to be kind of not in the best state of mind when you're listening to
I mean,
it. You have to have some chemical ingredients well, to
I
listen to really get the most out of
right, I just love listening to it,
it.
even though I don't have that kind of condition.
Yeah, yeah,
But I just like the kind of music.
yes.
You know.
He actually one of the people he started his career with was the Monkees.
Oh, really? I did not know
And
that.
not the monk. Not, he didn't play with the Monkees, but he was their warm up when they were performing. The Monkees, if you remember, the Monkees were a band that everyone liked, that young people, kids liked. I was a little kid and I liked the Monkees.
Yeah.
So you would go to see the Monkees in like 1966 or 67 or something, and he was the warm up. And now, before the Monkees come out, we're going to hear Jimi Hendrix. So you hear just and the people are just what? I'm here to hear the Monkees, not to hear this guy. And I think sometimes he actually got booed. And then years later, people would say, "I saw the Monkees, but I didn't like the guy before him." You know that guy who before him was? That was Jimi Hendrix. You didn't like. He was you were there at a groundbreaking moment, and you just ignored it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you were there in the bathroom or getting some hot dogs or something. So I'll wait for the Monkees to come out. Jimi Hendrix, sadly, I think he was in the I think he was in the army before he was and he kind of made Woodstock. He was one of the last performers at Woodstock. I think in the movie they kind of straight rearrange it a bit so he's more at the beginning. But he from what I understand he was one of the last people to perform at Woodstock. And I think in the movie they actually have more of his concert at the end. It's a 3.5 hour movie. The whole thing took like 3 days. But he that pretty much solidified what he meant to music at the time and what music of the time and also music to this day because so much has he has created so much in his wake. 2 years ago got his own postage stamp.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My dad got one for me. That's in the John Paul.
Yeah,
Him and Janis Joplin both.
I made a joke when I bought the postage stamps and I used them on my Christmas cards that
Ah!
year. So I said you know these are really good stamps. And so, yeah, I see that Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix are on them. And I said, yeah, and if you lick them, you might get an acid trip. I said, really? I said, no, what are you talking about? You think the American government's going to put acid trips on you? Put LSD on your postage stamps? Oh, I have another sort of related story about that.
Yeah.
I collect stamps. I'm a
Right.
philatelist, and um, went to the post office and they had Paul Newman stamps.
Oh.
Now Paul Newman was a popular actor, gave a lot to charity. That's how he got on a stamp. Usually,
Right.
what you do, make movies, of course.
Right.
And what happened was, so I go to the postage place, uh, post office, and put my $10 down and get some stamps. So I want the Paul Newman stamps, and they said it's sort of the same joke I made with the licking it for the acid trip. And I said, I understand when you buy these Paul Newman stamps. I says to the woman that was selling them to me, I understand when you buy these Paul Newman stamps that if you lick them, the glue tastes like Paul Newman salad dressing. Hilarious joke, or so I thought. The woman just stared at me and said, "You're not supposed to lick them. They are self-adhesive." I said, and then I started to backtrack about, with the salad dressing. Paul Newman, you lick it, it tastes like the salad dressing. He goes, I just told you, you do not lick them. They are self-adhesive. Just peel them out, put them on your envelope. And so I said, okay, thank you. Took them and I said to myself, now I know why the postal workers are stretched so tight. Now I know why they burst in on their day off and start shooting up people because they're just wound tight. So I mean, if they do not think if they do not react if they react militantly to an innocuous Paul Newman salad dressing adhesive on the stamps joke, just imagine what will take them off.
Yes.
But that was so now you know I collect stamps. You know, stamps are a great collection because when you collect them, I don't collect canceled ones, only new ones or unused ones. So, you know, if I ever need money, I could always use these stamps, cash them in for I mean, I may not make any money on them, but I may make I may get my money back because they're still worth 50 cents each or so.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I bought a bunch of Elvis stamps in the day. And they said, "Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one?" And I didn't have that much money. I said, "No, I'm not going to give you one because you go out and buy your own Elvis stamps." But I said, "Listen, I'll make a deal with you. I'll send you a Christmas card or a birthday card later this year, and I will put the Elvis stamp on there so you could have the stamp. I'm going to get my money's worth out of this stamp before I send it to you." And they said, "Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine." Or you can give me the what those 32 cents,
Right.
29 cents for the Elvis stamp. They're more now. I think they're 55 cents now.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you we're in November now,
Yes.
and we just got we're in the holidays. First there was Halloween, then there was Election Day. Today is Veterans Day.
Yes.
Give you some idea.
Yes.
And then the next big holiday is Thanksgiving. You have anything?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Oh, look at that.
Turkey nails.
Turkey nails.
Yeah.
We match my turkey neck. You have your turkey nails. We're all set for Thanksgiving.
If anybody hasn't seen these some
Wow, look at
photos
them.
here. Yeah, aren't they cool?
Hold them still so we can see them. There you go. Yeah. Now stop frame it. You're gone. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what Thanksgiving is all about this year.
Hmm.
Are people actually going to eat together? Everyone's going to eat in their corners with a Swanson TV dinner.
I usually go see my family.
Yeah. Well, with your family, if you can handle it, that's fine. But even families aren't even getting together. It's sad.
So,
Yeah.
I know.
So we're just going to all be in a corner eating in separate corners, yelling at each other. But you know, because the election and the polarization
Yeah.
of the candidates and everything, we won't be yelling at each other about why did you vote for that guy. So maybe it's a good thing. This kind of drama we'll avoid.
Yeah.
We'll pick it up next year.
Right.
We'll see how the new guy does.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you have anything left to say, Mary?
Yes. I just want to say thank you all for tuning in and happy Veterans Day to all the veterans who served and are still serving in our country because they're very special to us. Okay. And may God bless you all and you have a wonderful evening. Take care.
Thank you. Good to be bad, bad being good. That's what it says on my shirt. All red. Anyway, Mary's good show. This was the Mary Elizabeth Variety Hour. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned next week for more exciting variety. Bye bye.